Alright guys, welcome back to Schmattz Outdoors. Another beautiful day out here. It is cold this morning and it is windy. So I'm doing this in my yard here. It's going to be a blustery day out on the line. If we got catches, we're going to be probably weaving the traps. We probably won't be remaking them unless they're, in a shelter place, because we got a real strong, like 20 plus mile an hour northwest wind today. It's supposed to lay down this evening and be down around like 10 tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be the day doing a full probably maintenance day on the line. I'm assuming, even just looking at the driveway here, that most everything's going to be froze up today, but we're going to have to be real cautious if we decide to drive out on any of the fields. Because I feel like there's probably going to be a crust on the top, and then if you fall through into the muck and slush, with the hard crust on top, you might not be able to get back out. So we're going to have to be real cautious driving on any fields for the next few days probably, but I'm kind of hoping by tomorrow, another, basically 24 hours of 20 degrees or colder temperatures, we'll have things pretty well froze up solid. Like I said, we're going to have to dig out probably every trap, because we figured an inch or more of rain yesterday, or like Wednesday night into yesterday. So it's going to take a little while to get, because I think my peat moss will soak all that moisture up. I put the peat moss in there to hopefully keep them working. So hopefully we got a catch for you today. The wind did blow, like I said, 20 miles an hour all night last night. So I'm going to be a little skeptical that we even got anything for you today, but you never know. And like I said, things are going to be froze up, so the next couple days could be a little bit slower days till I kind of get the line up and working again. The last few checks I actually went the wrong way. Like, I actually ended up pulling a couple coyote sets, one that the badger was in, two of them that coyotes were in. I ended up pulling the traps. The 2 days ago, the one had pulled my stake about halfway out, and then yesterday the coyote I caught, that trap was a mud ball. Even if I got it reset, I think it would have been froze rock solid today, because it was just soupy mud. So yeah, like I said, I think it's going to be a kind of a cold, breezy day. Probably a quick check of the line today. Quick for me anyway. And then, yeah, like I said, then we're going to have to just slowly, it's going to take me a few days here to kind of get the line back up and running full strength again. So, all right, I think that's all I got. Like, I didn't really do too much with the truck. I actually picked up a couple mink boxes yesterday that, now that I'm done beaver trapping and that type of stuff, I was driving, a good mile or more out of the way to check them. So I ended up pulling a couple of the mink boxes yesterday, and actually one of them, something that ate half of my bait. The other one, they had ate all my bait and actually had my little container I put my bait in out of my box right in front of their box. So apparently something was in my box, but just didn't set the trap off. So I don't know if it was weasels or if a mink was, got in there without setting my traps off. They're fairly well tuned, so their hair trigger, you just got to bump them and they go off. So if something got in there and got out of there without setting my trap off, it must have been fairly little. That's why I'm thinking weasel, to be honest. So, but yeah, I think that's all we got. Like I said, I did take the weasel boxes I picked up, I got put away last night and all that. So truck is clean, ready to go. We'll give you. So I got just a few extra like raccoon traps and a few extra coyote traps up in the front up here. So, and a few extra poles. I probably, in the next day or so, I'm going to consolidate down these raccoon traps, because I probably am not going to be setting too many more. I pretty much got most of what I planned on getting out for raccoon traps the way it is. So, and I'll probably be throwing in a few more coyote sets, because I plan on expanding the coyote line here in the next few days. So I'll have to, work my way through the ice and everything to get, or frozen ground to get traps in. But it's going to be froze on the top. Once you get through that crust, I think I'll be able to get my traps in and set. So kind of the main thing right now is going to be sifting dirt. I'm hoping that like the top will kind of freeze dry a little bit and give me enough like dry powdery dirt I can actually sift dirt over the top of my traps. So we'll kind of see how that goes here. Like I said, if I make a catch today and I can get out close to them, I'll probably try and remake it and just see how it goes. If I gotta walk, you know, a quarter mile off a road or something like that, I might just go get the animal out of there for today and then probably drive out there tomorrow. So, all right, I think that's all I got for you this morning. Like I said, we're gonna get out on the line. It's gonna be cold and blustery. If I have any catches, I apologize for the wind in advance. Well, guys, if you know what me being home already means, it wasn't good. We run the whole line. I mean, didn't take us long at all. I got one coyote trap that's on set, but it's on the north side of a grove with the north wind today. I wasn't gonna try and remake it. I did remake or dug two up that I know there'll be deer hunters right by them tomorrow, because today, you know, it'll be like the second weekend of our deer season tomorrow. And I'm pretty sure there'll be deer hunters out by there. And they're like the last ones that I've been checking. So I wanted to get them remade today. That way I'm not out there late tomorrow, like during prime time tomorrow night, if, you know, for deer season, you know, if those guys are deer hunting. But nothing, like I said, just a blank today. Those two that I dug up, you know, all the dirt on top was pretty well froze into a little patty. So, you know, there's a few of my traps probably would be working if a coyote would step on them. You know, like those two, like I said, it's probably iffy. You know, if they danced around on it long enough, it would have probably set it off. But we're going to have to, like I said, tomorrow it's going to be every trap. I'm going to go around, dig every one of them up. The fields are actually a lot firmer than I thought they'd be even today. So it's only 20 degrees right now, and it's supposed to stay, this is about the high for the day, and it's supposed to get colder tonight, like into around like 10 degrees overnight. So it should freeze everything up. When I remade those two, I had to chop pretty good with my hammer to get enough dirt, you know, loose dirt, in order to actually sift dirt back over the top of my trap. So, but again, I got at least two that are working. I don't know about the rest of them. Like I said, we'll see tomorrow, I guess, if any of them are working and if I got, you know, visits to them. I haven't really done a maintenance day the entire year. I mean, I've maintained a few of them. You know, I drove out to a few of them just to check them, but I haven't done like a full line maintenance day yet. So we're 2 weeks into the season. This was check 15 and I got nothing. I blanked out. You know, not really ideal, but I can't really do nothing about it. We're kind of in that lull in the middle of the season here. The weather was not good last night. The wind's been blowing 20 plus all night. You know, that's not real conducive to animals moving around. I thought maybe like in some of these ravines, a guy could have maybe picked up a raccoon, but again, it was below freezing, so it didn't surprise me they weren't out and about. At least not that I caught any. I mean, none of my dog proofs were messed with. None of the golf balls were knocked off, nothing like that. So tomorrow it's going to be a maintenance day on the coyote line. The next day I'm going to try and do a full maintenance day on the raccoon line. I don't know what the rain we got, like if my cat food and stuff will be froze up inside my dog proofs. So we're going to go around and do a little maintenance on the dog proofs, just make sure that they're not all froze solid. Some of them I don't think are going to be, but there are a few that were kind of out in the open that, you know, with an inch of rain in them, if it swelled up the cat food at all, they may be a frozen block in there. So I may have a hard time getting them cleaned out. But again, that's trapping. If they ain't working, I don't want to be driving by them every day checking them. So I might as well take the time to get them remade. It's going to be cold tomorrow, but I think the wind's going to be way, way less than it is today. So I'm surprised my urine isn't froze today, but we're going to take that in my basement, and then tomorrow the extra is going to be in my inside my truck. Well, actually both of these will be riding around inside the truck tomorrow, and then I'll be re-urinating my traps tomorrow, and then I'm going to kind of go through my bag right now, and I'm going to check baits and lures and all that, and if I have to bring extra along, I'm going to throw them in my pail up there. So I make sure that I got resupply enough to resupply my bag in case I run out of stuff, because there are a couple of them that are a little low. And as long as I'm remaking them, I'm going to re-lure and probably rebait. You know, if I can't see the bait, I'm going to add a little bait to each one too. Like I said, they're going to be basically fresh sets after tomorrow. So all right, like I said, I'm sorry guys, no catches today, but it's the nature of the beast. You can't catch every day. I've been doing awesome this season, so kind of is what it is. I appreciate you guys for following along. We'll see you guys out on the line tomorrow. Welcome back to Schmattz Outdoors, everyone. We're just getting going for the morning here. A little bit behind schedule, but yesterday, because I didn't make any catches, I did get 2 beavers flashed, because I only got 2 boards to dry them on. So I had 2 on already that would have been on for a couple days. So then I lay them down, so then I could flip them over because they're already pretty much dry, so the bottom ones won't sag. And then put 2 new ones, 2 that I caught here just the other day on. I got all 4 of the coyotes I've caught in the last couple of checks, because I had to wash all of them. So they've been hanging in my basement, you know, kind of for a couple hours each day to just kind of get the fur dry. Because if you don't get the fur dry, then they won't dry when they're on the stretchers. So I dry the fur before I flesh anything. So I try to get the fur as dry as I can before I flesh them. So I fleshed 4 coyotes and that badger last night, and the 2 beavers. And this morning, 3 of the coyotes were ready to turn. The 1 is still a little bit wetter than I want to turn it. So we're going to leave that till tonight. And that badger will definitely be tonight, if it won't be even tomorrow before I get him turned, because he's pretty soft still. And badgers are one thing I have a hard time, like, kind of knowing when to turn them. You let them go too long, they're like a raccoon, you know, when you dry a raccoon, and then you can't turn the thing. And if you don't wait long enough, I have trouble with the molding between the back of my badgers and the boards. So I don't know if that's a common thing, but I have issues with that every year. Almost every badger will mold to some extent between the back of my badger and the board. So like I said, we're gonna leave them 2 till at least tonight, but it took me a little bit to get the 3 coyotes turned and put back on the stretchers and all that. So, but it's good to get a little bit of fur done. I don't want to be doing fur this time of year. Today there won't be any fur work being done unless I do have catches. I'll do skinning tonight, but I won't be putting any fur up tonight. So plan for the day, it's gonna be remaking sets. I did 2 yesterday in the wind, just because I know there'll be deer hunters right by those. But we're gonna go drive up to every set. So it's gonna be a full maintenance day today. We're gonna dig every one of them up, because the dirt I sifted over the top of my peat moss yesterday was frozen to a nice little patty. So there's gonna be quite a few of them that I think even a coyote could probably stand on, and it won't set them off. So, and as long as I'm there, we're gonna be rebaiting, re-luring, and re-urinating, putting urine on them on every set as I go. So, you know, they're gonna be basically fresh sets after today. So, but now it's been 20 degrees or below for like 48 hours here, if not more, and below freezing for longer. So I'm gonna brave her out on the fields. We're gonna drive out to all these sets, and I think we should be fine. Getting dry dirt or dirt to sift is gonna be a bugger, you know, because the ground is now froze. So you're trying to chop and get enough loose dirt to actually sift dirt, because I won't be digging out my trap beds or anything like that. Basically just using a screwdriver and just popping that crust off the top. Usually some of my peat moss will come off with it, and then sifting just a little more peat moss over the top. You know, making sure the trap isn't froze down, the levers aren't froze down. Add a little peat moss under the levers if I have to. Put a little back over the top, and then just sift a little dirt over the trap. So, and I do know I got at least 1 trap that set off that I wasn't going to remake in the wind yesterday. I got 1 more that I might try to put back that I pulled the other day, because the trap was a mud ball, and I figured it would, even if I'd remade it, it would have froze my trap up. You know, the trap itself was so muddy that I don't think it would have went off if you'd have stood on it. So I left the stake on that one. I just popped the split ring open and pulled the trap out of there. So I may try to put that trap back in today. We'll kind of see again how hard the ground's going to be hard, so chopping trap beds and stuff is going to be fun from now on, but that's the life of a trapper in my area here. So we went from, you know, super easy trapping, you know, dry ground, no rain, to raining well over an inch. Nobody seems to know how much, but we figured it's well over an inch, and then now it froze. As soon as the rain got done, it froze. So like I said, we're gonna get going. Like I said, it's gonna be a long day on the line. It could even be close to dark before I get home. If I get towards the end of my line and I have a little extra time, I may actually add a few sets in. I mean, I have plenty of spots. Again, I've told you a few times, I got like 20 spots I could get traps out if I have time. So today I plan on just doing maintenance. Again, I'm not gonna be putting new sets anywhere, I don't think, until I get towards the end of the line. We'll see how much time I have left, but all right, let's get on the road. All right, guys, I don't know if you can tell, but it's snowing in my face here. Ground's getting a little more white as I go. We're digging sets out. It's not going too bad. It's cold, but you know, that's what it is. I believe with the 2 sets I got here, I'll be up to 20 sets remade out of 40 coyote sets. I'm pretty sure none of my dog proofs are working too. I think the rain swelled up my calf food and froze them solid too, so I'm not remaking dog proofs today. That's not even a consideration. It's cold as it is. Raccoon travel is very limited when it's this cold, so that may be, I might not even do it tomorrow. It might be like the next day, that type of deal. But we finally did make a catch. So 2 days in, we finally made a catch. One thing I was gonna mention too, and I'll maybe try and show it here, the sets, I think if a coyote stepped on them, I think they would go off. A fox, they might not, or like a raccoon, depending on the size of the raccoon, they may not, but I think they got enough crust, like the snow, the dirt is actually like domed up above my trap, and I think if they stepped on it, I think that dome would collapse, and then I think the trap would go off. So may not be getting, you know, you might get a weird catch just because, you know, they're gonna feel it falling and maybe try to pull their hand out or paw out of there, but I think a good majority of them would have made catches had something stepped on them. I just don't know. So I'm basically taking off that crust, making sure there's peat moss under my trap. Like my traps themselves have all been working, except for I had one deer had stepped in and one coyote had dug up so far out of 20 traps. So that's actually pretty good average considering I've went like 2 weeks without doing a maintenance day here. So to only have 2 that weren't working so far is pretty good numbers for me, honestly. But so yeah, I think the way the dirt is domed up, I think they actually, if they stepped on it, that dome would kind of collapse, and I think they actually, the traps would have all been working. I think, you know, the levers ain't been froze down on most of them, and even the ones that were, I think as soon as the trap went off, I think the, you know, they'd have enough power to pop them loose. So but we, like I said, we did make a catch here, so we'll show you this guy. So I think I had, yeah, I caught a skunk in this set first, and then I caught a coyote in here probably a good week ago already. We got this kind of big block of woods here, and a fence line comes down here from the east, and then I have a set down by a ditch like on the other side of the road up here that I made a couple catches 2 days in a row up there, a couple coyote catches. And then we got like a field edge right here, yeah, in this little tree of the neighbor's field edge here, all coming up to this one spot. So we got, you know, I'm on the south side of this fence line, so if they're checking any of these woods, they're going to be running on this side of it. And I think he's got just a mud spot. Was pretty sure from the road I had a catch, but he was laying in this hole over here. But actually, looking at this one, I would say I got dug out there. My trap is right here, and he dug my bait out, or something dug my bait out of here. So again, that one might have just made a miss, because like I said, he dug my hole out. But so he's got a little mud on the side of his face, and I think literally that was just from, he was literally laying here until I got pretty close to him, and then he finally got up. So pretty good sized dog. Got a whole bunch of burrs in his back, but otherwise I think he's furred up okay. So yeah, made a catch finally. 2 days, or yesterday I didn't make a catch at all, so finally made a catch, a 2 days run here. So, and like I said, I wasn't so sure my traps were even going to be working, so the fact I made a catch is a good sign. Like I said, we're remaking stuff, we're getting stuff working again. I'm basically rebaiting, luring, and putting urine on every set as I go. So they're basically like brand new sets now. So hopefully that should pick up my catch rate here in a few days. But made a catch today. Not going home empty-handed again. So get this guy out of here. Like I said, we'll get that set dug up here, and the trap dug up and everything, and I'll get it rebaited and lured, and make sure that one's working good, and we'll get this one reset. And like I said, I think this is trap 20 for me. These two will be 19 and 20. I got 18 of them already set and reset and working, so that's about half my line, because I think I got about 40 coyote sets out right now. So make it okay time. It just takes a lot of time. It's taking a bunch of peat moss and all that, a lot of time and effort to do it, but we're gonna get them all working good for the next 2 weeks here. And now it should stay froze, so I shouldn't have any trouble with the freeze thaw, all that stuff anymore. So all right, hands are getting cold, or they have been cold anyway. We'll get this guy out of here, we'll get these sets remade and move on. All right guys, I'm going to talk a little quiet because I got something cool to show you. We'll see if I can actually video this without them spooking here. I am down, you can see my coyote bag. I'm remaking coyote sets here. I added a snare right down here in the corner because it almost looked like they're coming right underneath this diagonal post right here. The coyotes are. But so right here is where the beaver house is, where I had a set for like 4 or 5 days, and I ended up catching 3 muskrats first before I finally caught the beaver. But the otter are still in here. They're right there. There's 3 otters right here, and there's actually another great big one right out here. So I actually filmed otters in here, tried to film them last year, and right by this house right here, that one popped up right in front of me. But there's a whole family of them. There's 3 right here, there's like 2 and then a single there, and there's one more great big one right up there. So there actually are still otter in here. I never caught one while I was beaver trapping, but I didn't set really any 330s around the runs, and I never set. So the other beaver house is right up in here where the beaver was last year, and I never set any sets up there this year because it didn't look like they were the beavers were down there using it. But I wonder if the otters moved into it since the beavers did move down. Well, this one's gone. But yeah, like I said, there was 3 for sure up here. 2 that are still there, almost look like little ones. Let's see if I can zoom in a little more. So I think there's 2 there for sure. And there was 3 there when I first started videoing. I think those 2 that are still sitting there are little ones. I'm just gonna kind of zoom along and kind of see there's just a little strip of open water out there today, which is surprising because so that one was setting right out here. Is the first one I noticed. So I grabbed my phone and started videoing because my GoPro can't zoom at all. So, but there's definitely a pair right there. There's 2, one kind of facing straight at us on the right, and then there's another one way in sideways there. But there was just 3 there just a second ago. So I don't know, I may go down here and investigate this other beaver house up here, because I don't know like if there's open water up here closer to shore, like up in here, if there's open water there where they're going in and out of that house. Oh, there he's back up. There's one right here, right in the middle of the screen there, right there. I'm sorry I'm shivering a little, it's cold out here. My hands are freezing. Yeah, he's swimming in the water there. I think he just dove. Not sure what he was eating. They were eating something, but like I said, there's actually 2 right here. There's one way in on the right, straight forward towards us, and then there's one way in sideways there, so I don't know where the third one down here went, but definitely cool to see. I'm going to get this coyote set remade behind me, and then like I said, we're going to go out and investigate just a little bit. Alright, I'm just walking out here. There's 2 otters right, whoa Nelly. Right here there was one, and there's one right out here. So there you can see the one. I'm not really hiding because I'm wearing blaze orange, but when I first filmed them, some of them were setting like right out here, but we got one right here. There's another one going in and out this way. Oh, there he is, right over here's one. Right there was one. They're definitely eating something, I just can't tell what. I don't know if there's actually fish in here or what they're really eating. Oh, there's another one. See, that one looks like a small one, that far one. Oh, no, there's another one way out there. So those 2 look like smaller ones. This one here is a big one. And there's the 4th one. There you go. So there's one right there, one way out there, one sitting here, and then there was one like halfway between those 2. So I would say we got probably a pair and a couple little ones. There's the 4th one. So we got 3 right there, and then the 4th one was over here. Pretty cool. Like I said, there ain't many otter in our area, so to see any otters is a pretty cool sight around here. That one was just surfacing there. Like I said, I don't really know much about catching otter, or anything really about catching otter. So there's 3 of them again. Oh, that's a weed. I don't know where the 4th one went. Like I said, I just drove my pickup up right behind me, so it's not a surprise that they moved out there farther. Pretty cool, like I said. I'm gonna get over the fence here and check out this house and just see if it looks like they're using it. So there's 3 out there for sure. Like I said, there is 4 of them here, but you can see like right here they got the ice broke up, and that beaver house is just right in this quad of trees here. So that beaver house is right in here. So I'm wondering if they ain't living in that beaver house and then using this little bit of open water for the time being. We'll check her out a little bit and we'll get moving on here. Alright guys, trying to get in the light for you. We made her home right here at dark. Got them all checked. I got 1 coyote set I didn't get remade today, and that's on our land here. I checked it and there was nothing in it, but I didn't get it remade today. But I am tired. I got 38 coyote sets remade, rebaited, traps dug up, rebedded, all that stuff. Rebaited, lured, and put urine on every one of them. You're the ones, whatever I had on my phone app or whatever, what I had on there before. A few of them I didn't put urine on this year in spots that I feel like I've had trouble with deer setting them off in the past. I think a couple of them I actually may have put urine on and I shouldn't have. But I was trying to pay a little attention to that as I was going and remaking stuff. I do think my raccoon sets, the dog proofs, I think my cat food is swelled up. And I think most of them are probably not working too. So Next few days I'll have to get them working. We're going to start with a select few that I think are in spots that I think coons move no matter what temperature is, and then kind of go from there. We'll get the whole line up and working here in the next few days. I also plan on adding some more coyote sets, but I added 2 snares today, but I didn't get any new sets put in, anything like that. I had a little bit of a hiccup where I was looking at them otter and filmed them otter for you guys. I had my binoculars out first just to make sure that's what it was before I started filming, and I set them kind of on the lip of my truck. I'd sat them like on the edge of this, and when I went to leave, I must not have thrown them in. They were on that side, and they fell off in the pasture there. And I was like 2 or 3 sets later, and I seen some deer out in the field, and I was gonna go. I was gonna look at them because I think there was a 1 buck out there for sure. And I couldn't find my binoculars. I'm like, oh, I know where they are. So they had fell off. It looks like it didn't hurt them. I didn't bend them or anything, but the one eyepiece is a little wonky, so we're gonna have to see if I can get that straightened out. I can still use them, it's just it don't fit up to your eye like it should. But so I had to backtrack like probably 5 or 6 miles to go back and get them. So that ended up slowing me down a little, but we did end up with the 1 coyote today. So I mean, he's got some burrs in him. He's actually pretty light colored for compared to a lot of them I've been catching. His feet are muddy, but we're gonna have to get him inside. I think I've mentioned this to you in the past about try not to. His nose is completely froze rock hard. Like I can't even flex it at all, and I think his legs are froze too. So it's below 20 degrees out here, and he's been in my truck for 5 hours probably now. And they freeze, and you can't skin that like that. You got to get them thawed out before you can skin them. So we're going to get him hanging in my basement, back where I do my fleshing and stuff, until he gets unthawed a little bit. After supper and stuff, we'll come back out and get him. We'll get the burrs and everything picked off of him in the house, because I mean this whole patch is all solid burrs. He's got a few on his butt, but we'll get him hanging in the basement, and we'll get him skinned here tonight, and probably froze because I am not fleshing him tonight. But otherwise, I think that's all I got for you. Like I said, 1 catch, but I didn't expect the line to be working, so to catch anything was kind of a bonus. Otherwise, we'll see you guys out on the line tomorrow.